Chest up, class.
Good afternoon, honourable judges, respected teachers and fellow pupils. The motion set before us today is that whether technology in the future will cause more problems than solutions. Myself, Aman, and my fellow classmates Ariba and Hazy are here to put the obvious fact. There is no denying that technology in the future will cause more problems than solutions. Yes, technology has many benefits and it has made our lives easier and efficient, from communicating to my cousins in Pakistan without the use of pigeons to shopping and getting things delivered to me at the tap of a button. Technology has made life easier and comfortable, and we are grateful for the privileges that we enjoy. But are we ignoring the damage that comes from our reliance on technology? Our argument is not whether the internet and technology are good or bad, but how it affects our life and the basis of morals and social living, which will clearly show more negative day-to-day impact than positive. Our argument will focus on how technology consistently battles with our well-being, how it impacts our environment, and defeats human labor. Let me begin with social media. I certainly do not hate social media. I am part of the like, follow, subscribe generation. Yes, it's fun making TikTok videos and watching live streams, but many of us are not realizing the dangers of social media, especially on young people. A recent study found 500,000 year 11s showing high levels of depressive symptoms. This is an increase of 33% on the previous year. Even more disturbing are the suicide rates in girls of the same age has increased by 65%. This is a growing problem, with teenagers spending an average of 6.5 hours a day in front of screens. When someone spends that much time on screens, do you think they can just stop? This obsession is having an extreme negative impact on children as young as 5. Please think about it. This generation is parented by YouTube and Google. We children and young people are left to our own devices. The black hole of technology is overloaded with content. 50% of children aged 5 to 10 are exposed to 1/3 of children in that age group have been victims of cyberbullying. And why else did our school introduce the No Screen Friday? And have you seen notices outside schools and nurseries banning the use of phones? Some nurseries even put up notices asking parents to greet children with a smile and not their faces glued to their phones. Our opposition has argued that social media brings people closer, but are we really close and connected? We have 500 followers on Instagram, 200 friends on Facebook, but who are these people? We judge ourselves' worth based on the likes we get and rely on other people's approval and comments. And at home, where have our dinner table conversations gone? The whole family is glued onto our devices. Do we even realize what goes into our mouth when our eyes are fixed on the screen? Technology is a useful servant, but a very dangerous master. Let's keep it that way. Thank you.
Judges, teachers, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, teammates, worthy opponents, welcome and a good afternoon to you all. My name is Jovmer, and we are here today to debate on the topic that technology will cause more problems than it will solve. However, we, the members of Oak, believe that technology will solve more problems than it will cause. To prove our point, my peers and I will now be enlightening you with some substantiating facts we have gathered. My duty today is to speak about the impact of technology on communication. The second speaker will further discuss the benefits of technology in employment and medicine. And last but not least, our third speaker will discuss the impact of technology on transportation. Let me start by first providing the key terms in the news. All of the following definitions are from the site www.dictionary.com. Firstly, technology means, and I quote, the branch of knowledge that deals with the creation and the use of technical means and their interrelation with life, society, and the environment, drawing upon such subjects as industrial arts, engineering, applied science, and pure science. Also, solve means, and I quote, to find the answer or explanation for, clear up and explain. The online dictionary further defines problem as, and I quote, any question or matter involving doubt, uncertainty or difficulty. The word future means, and I quote, a period of time that is to come, end of quote. Also, harm means, and I quote, to hurt someone or damage something, end of quote. Ladies and gentlemen, do not be brainwashed by the false information that my opponents are trying to infuse into your awesome brain cells. You, my opponents, need to get your facts straight. How can you stand here trying to defend your nonsensical claim? Technology has done nothing but solve problems so far. So who says it will cause problems in the future? New technological advancements are influencing our world in increasingly apparent ways. From how we pass time at home, how we connect and communicate via social media. According to OneBrandMagic.com, and I quote, when we talk about advancement of the digital world and its increasing symbiosis with our day-to-day lives, it's consumer technology, in particular this revolution, from smartphones to virtual reality, consumer technology is permeating our society at an astonishing, bomb-smacking rate. And we're starting to see how this is set to alter our lives forever. Imagine life without technology, because I cannot. What was it like when there was no technology? Well, now I'll take you back in the dark ages of time when the world was dim, a time where people used smoke signals as a form of communication. Shocking, right? My opponents, smoke signals could only send the simplest of messages, but as time went on, the population grew and they needed to send longer messages as well as sending them to a different country. According to nearfieldcommunication.org, and I quote, before electric communication methods were developed, people used very archaic ways of communicating. To send a message over a long distance, they would sometimes use flame beacons or light flashes with a heliograph. Civilians would often only have handwritten letters or word by a messenger to learn about family news. Imagine what would happen in emergency situations. The family would only learn about a crisis several days later, when it might have been too late. How sad. But take a look at us now. We're using technology in all sorts of ways. We have all of this technology to help us and assist us to do a wide variety of things. Technology has solved many problems and caused barely any. So how will technology cause more problems in the future, my opponents? My opponents, before your second and third speaker come up here, you might need to think about that. Over this pandemic, we have relied on technology a lot. First of all, at the beginning of this lockdown, a long time ago, at the beginning of March 2020, lockdown was official. We had nothing to do online, and Online learning had not begun at the time, so therefore many of us used social media to interact with our families and played online games to get us through those hard times. My opponents, you'll now probably be thinking that so many of us are getting addicted to social media and it is affecting our mental health. However, according to www.walk.com, published on the 13th of October 2020, and I quote, for those who say social media has a good impact on them, the majority, 69%, say this because it allows them to connect with friends and family, and 66% say that is a useful tool to pass time. So my opponents, do you still need more information? If so, on the website www.walk.com, 34% of people find social media has a bad effect on them and on other people. Therefore, that means 66% of people think the opposite. Social media has a good effect on them and on other people. Thanks to technology, problems are being solved and it will continue to do this. Food for thought. Technology has solved problems in the future and will continue to solve problems. I rest my case.
Dear judges, teachers, and my fellow people, crime is a cruel thing. The damages on a common man is horrific. Modern technology and the internet is particular. have helped crime by benefiting the wicked and harming of one another. In the UK, we have seen a huge increase in cybercrime. Last year alone, cybercrime has increased 53%, totaling more than 1.7 million crimes. Nearly 4,000 cybercrimes are committed every day. That is 4,000 families affected every day. How would you feel if that were you or your family? The internet is helping the lost people profit at the expense of the ordinary population. It also costs people money, as police need to use up time and resources to investigate these crimes. Scammers are everywhere. Throughout emails, phone calls, online purchases, it is so easy for them to give our personal space. No matter how many cybersecurity and safety measures have been developed, technology has become a horrible means of exploitation. This is very concerning because technology that we able to help us is destroying us. There cannot be one adult in this room who hasn't got fake emails or messages attempting to invade personal information. Hackers are like hawks, working on an international level every day, spreading hate and encouraging crime is what the technology has made us into. Now moving on to the global impact. Technology has made us selfish beings. We have evolved to be concerned with our needs and desires, that we have neglected our mother nature. Our greed of seeking comfort has cost the environment and habitats of wildlife. Technology has played a huge role in creating the carbon dioxide pollution that is killing our planet. The biggest polluter in the world is China because it is the production home of tech giants like Microsoft and Apple. Producing all these tech goodies is literally killing our planet. That doesn't even include cars, which are the biggest producers of carbon dioxide and themselves affecting the community. Cars also make us an unhealthy species. America, which is the world's biggest car user, also ranks in the highest rate of obesity. Did you know watching half an hour show leads up to 1.6 kg of carbon emission? Global warming is a real problem and technology plays a huge role in contributing to it and damaging our planet and our future. In year 6, we have been learning about global warming, climate change, and the efforts of Greta Thunberg questioning the leaders about the state of our future. We too have a responsibility for us and our future generation to protect them across our prosperous world, and technology does not help us to do in any way. Rather, it is a harmful force competing to destroy morality and our planet Earth. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, judges, teammates, and my opponents, I welcome you all. My name is George Luff, and I will be debating why technology will solve more problems than cause in key subjects such as employment and medicine. My teammate has already restated the moot, giving you factual evidence as to how technology in the future will solve more problems rather than cause harm. Audience, please join me in a moment of laughter. Ha 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 ha. Opponents, do you really think that technology will create more problems in the future than it will solve? Think again, my opponents. Do you really want to continue to defend your laughable claim? Technology will let people work from home with the hundreds of apps out there that let them have meetings with each other, which is way easier, especially in the global pandemic, because you are not able to gather a lot of people in a room at once. With the technology we have, we can all be far away from each other and talk through a screen. Technology, my opponent, is very useful because it can do the basics for a company, so you don't have to focus on it. Then all of the company can concentrate on large projects which need lots of people working on them. A study by CNBC states that, and I quote, 70% of people in the world work online at least once a week. End of quote. So if technology was causing problems, then only 70% of the world would use it. Also, according to redalchemy.com, and I quote, technology improves efficiency for business because the best advantage of any technology is that it increases the efficiency of a business process. We can perform more tasks in less time. From shared drives to emails, communication, coordination, execution, and implementation of a lot of business processes have become swift and hassle-free, all thanks to technology. End of quote. Ladies and gentlemen, take a second and think about the countless lives that are being saved right now. Right this second, all around the world. Ask yourself how it's possible for doctors and medical professionals to save countless lives on a daily basis. The answer is groundbreaking research using technology. Yes, technology. My fellow opponents, how can you entertain the notion that technology does more harm than good? Before the invention of various medical technological equipment, such as insulin infusion pumps, electronic defibrillators, a simple MRI scan or ultrasound scan, doctors were only able to predict the onset of disease or the problem that the patient is suffering from and were limited the way they were able to treat them. Take a look at what we're able to do today. We are able to test and get results for the current COVID-19 virus within 30 minutes. How can this be possible, you may ask? This is down to the use of medical technology used in labs to test and create these kits. My opponents, let me further present you with facts in order to deliver you from the delusion which have arrested your minds. According to geospatialworld.net, technology helps massively because, and I quote, today it is possible to reproduce bones and some internal organs using 3D printing technology. These artificial organs and bones then can be introduced into the body of the patient to replace disease or problematic areas. End of quote. Geospatialworld.net have also stated that, and I quote, today, doctors and nurses use handheld devices to instantly update the patient's medical history. This makes more accurate and more efficient diagnosis and treatments. End of quote. Technology is the best option for medical experimentation because geospatialworld.net stated that, and I quote, technology has drastically changed how medical experiments are conducted. Instead of taking years, experiments now take months or weeks. Innovations like the chip adenovirus, which is closely related to a human version, has revolutionized the rate of experimentation. The Ebola outbreak proved that experiments could be greatly accelerated. Because of fears of the world outbreak and the need for rapid containment, researchers thought out of the box and came up with innovative solutions that led to the Ebola vaccine in record time. End of quote. So, my opponents, there you have it. Will you still continue to defend your claim? I rest my case.
Good afternoon, respected judges, dear teachers and fellow students. I'm here to elaborate on my fellow peers have discussed, the harms of technology. We don't need to actively use technology to be affected by it. Technology has become so smart and cool to seep into our lives, to steal our valuable community. I'm not saying that robotics will invade mankind, but are we not slaves of technology already? By using technology in the field of medicine and factories, human understanding has improved vastly, and it has benefited by providing advancements. However, by doing so, technology over the years, and still, is cutting down and replacing people's jobs. Krispy Kreme, for instance, famous for their donuts, uses machines to glaze their sticky secret recipes. They are delicious. However, do you think that people who used to do those jobs manually are relishing the taste? Certainly not. They are instead left unemployed, losing their livelihood. And aren't you tired of hearing the monotone voice of the checkouts in Tesco and Asda? Please place your items in the basket area, unattended items in the bag area. Please wait for a number. And we wait. Whatever happened to cheerful customer assistants who greet us with warm smiles, asking us about our day? Over a year, children and young people have struggled and missed out on learning. No matter how hard schools and teachers try to provide remote learning, can it ever replace the experience of face-to-face learning? The UN Secretary has warned that not attending face-to-face learning is a tragedy for the future of humankind. Over 168 million students have missed out school for almost a year due to COVID-19. According to Oxford Economics, up to 20 million manufacturing jobs around the world could be replaced by robots by 2030. If this continues, I retract my earlier statement. Yes, technology will invade mankind. From factory workers, drivers to phone operators, and even pilots, our future lies in the hands of technology. Apart from the fear of whether it will be reliable or not, the concern that it will put us, yes, you and me, out of jobs as well. Dear all, the future is us. It is we who are going to bear the brunt of technology. We conclude our argument with this quote. I fear the day that technology will surpass our human interaction. The world will have a generation of idiots. Wonder who said it? The famous Albert Einstein, known as the father of physics. We are the generation of idiots, becoming reliant on technology, and that day he was talking about will come to pass if we
Boy like me? No, I'm not going to walk on the journey. Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, a pleasant afternoon to you all. My role today is to enlighten you on how technology in the future will solve the problem of transportation rather than cause harm. You, my opponents, need to be educated on the facts. Let me share a story with you from the businessinsider.com of Tom Turkish, who moved 10,000 miles of territory across the US, Central and South America over the course of 2 years. During those 2 years, he encountered many obstacles. He bribed his way through a Mexican checkpoint, saw the bodies of a gang execution in El Salvador, had the soles of his shoes taken off, soles of his shoes knocked off in Costa Rica, moved for months in the Peruvian and Chilean deserts, and nearly froze while camping at 15,000 feet. This experience, my opponents, was a difficult one for Tom, one that could have gotten him killed. If only then he had taken another mode of transportation, he would have completed his journey in less than a day. This is certainly not an experience any human being would have wanted. I, for one, would not have survived that journey. Would you? I don't think so. My opponents, I am sure you will agree with me that the invention of different methods of transportation has brought nothing but positive changes in our society. Might I say to you that the modes of transportation have changed the way people live all over the world. They made it possible for people, goods and services to travel long distances in short spaces of time. They can transport people to important places such as work, hospitals and schools. As the politician Robert Brady said, and I quote, "There can be no doubt that the transportation sector is the most critical sector in our economy." End of quote. Think of your journey to school today. I can be certain that the majority of you use some form of transportation to get here. Now think of not having this useful mode of transportation. Imagine how much harder the journey would be. Imagine how tired you'd be after walking several miles to get here. Think about you planning a holiday trip to one of those exotic Caribbean islands. How will you get there? By foot? I guess not. You need to understand that the evolution of technology has solved many problems today and will continue to do so. Transportation being one of them. Don't just take it from me. Listen to the facts. When the first mechanical vehicle, the car, was invented, people's lives were better. They were able to travel more effectively and efficiently. Today, people continue to benefit. They are now able to travel to different parts of the world within hours to visit families and friends. So, my opponents, can you now see the problem that technology solves? Yes, the problem of transportation. Without the advancement in technology, we would not have most of the things we have today. How will we get supplies from other countries without ships, planes and trains? Our lives, my opponents, would be complete chaos. After all this, my opponents, do you still want to continue to defend your stance? I think not. Years from now, my opponents, our lives will be better. With the continuous advancement in technology, new vehicles have been and will be invented. One such invention is the electric car. Electric cars are a way forward as they are cheaper to run, more reliable, and of less expensive taxes. They use natural energy such as solar, wind, and even water. According to Earth 911 and the Energy Sage, and I quote, there are multiple different advantages of owning an electric car. They do not contain exhaust systems, therefore they cannot affect people's lungs. They also help us achieve cleaner air. End of quote. Electric cars, my opponents, are slowly becoming more popular and will be used to replace these petrol cars in the future. These cars are made of renewable materials, thus will help prevent the buildup of non-renewable scrap metal. These futuristic cars are also very quiet and will stop creating noise pollution. Now tell me, is there any harm in that? Let me further add that the US Department of Transportation stated that, and I quote, ITS improves transportation safety and mobility by integrating advanced wireless communication technologies into transportation infrastructure and vehicles. The purpose of ITS is to process and share information that can prevent vehicle collisions, keep traffic moving, and reduce environmental impacts. End of quote. Communication points in hazardous road areas and intersections. The technology will extend crash reduction capabilities by allowing automatic control of signal timing, speed management, and operation of transit and commercial vehicles. Bill Ford Jr., Executive Chairman of the Ford Motor Company, while addressing the ITS World Congress in Detroit in September 2014, stated that, and I quote, "Cities are struggling with transportation today and will struggle even more in the future." End of quote. This, my opponents, is a problem to be solved, and the only way to solve it is by the advancement in technology. The population is increasing all over the world, and people need to keep moving from place to place. This means that there will be need for more efficient transportation, unless, my opponents, you want to go back in time where people usually walk by foot for long distances. I certainly do not. A boy like me will not endorse that. Wake up, my opponents, and come on board with us. This is the future we are talking about, not the olden days when granny used to travel animals to get from place to place. Let us together embrace the advancement of technology, so that in the future we can say, look at us now. Looking in, looking out, looking even better. Let us together rise to say, technology in the future will solve more problems than it will harm. I thank you. How much better to get wisdom than gold, to choose understanding rather than silver. We have served you a plate of wisdom, my opponents. I can only hope you will solve more problems than cause harm. My opponents, having listened to your arguments, I am forced to believe that due diligence was not taken as your research was one-sided, as it didn't strike a balance on the positive side on technology. How can you come here to tell us that technology will cause more harm? Are you trying to tell us that you prefer to go back to the olden days where communicating to family and friends across the world was very difficult? I think not. We, the members of Oak, still stand as proud as a peacock to defend our claim, because what technology is to make the world a smaller place. I am sure all of you here enjoy interacting with friends and with family on social media, especially in this pandemic when we need each other the most. A show of hands for all of those who don't like to use social media. Didn't think so. My opponents, you are to disagree that technology will cause more harm than it will solve, but yet you still come here trying to convince us that technology affects our environment. Judges, take it from me. We are ruining the environment. Technology is innocent. You say that cybercrimes are committed every day, but whose fault is that? Ours, right? It is because we share our personal information. Here's some advice, audience. Do not share any personal information. Trust me, judges. Going back to my first point about the environment, if we plant trees and stop cutting them, our environment will be peaceful and calm. I say this again, technology is innocent. We need to be disciplined so less of us get addicted to social media. Judges, audience, don't get sidetracked by my opponents. Instead, use the evidence given by us to make the necessary and vital decision. Team Oak wants a future that will provide us with more efficient and reliable transportations, better communication systems, and also a future where jobs will be readily available and medicine be easily available. So, my opponents, get on board with us and let us together rise to say technology in the future will solve more problems than it will solve. I thank you.
Hello again, gentlemen. Our opposing team has mentioned clean air with electric cars. But why did we need clean air in the first place? Because technology has polluted it. They have also said social media brings people closer, but my teammate has but they could be strangers. Social media also has age restrictions, but who knows if children follow it. And our present team has also said, technology helps in medicines and doctors, but the same technology that creates or develops remedies is the same one that creates it.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Good afternoon.
Fire! Fire! Give them a round. You, both teams, you should be very proud of your debating skills. I hope as your sixties, as you go into secondary, that you will continue this trend that you have started. And Mrs. Hamilton, what I am seeing here is future politicians in the nation. All right, well done to both teams. We were very impressed. For the speaker for Chestnut class, that goes to Armand. Well done.
It's difficult for Team Oak for us to choose a speaker. It's like we wish we could give all three the speakers. You know, it was really that good. But we have decided, it was based on the person who, you know, really gave a solid punch and kept the audience from the beginning, we believe is George. So well done to first speaker. Exceptionally good in terms of bringing home that rebuttal, but George just had us, you know, from the get-go. So congratulations on that. And we've never done this before, really, in a debate. One side we felt from the very first speaker shut it down, like immediately, you know, locked the doors, and we were thinking, what will the other side come with? But then you guys came kicking with passion, and your arguments were just so solid, and you were, listen, this is what we're debating, this is what we're saying, you know, and we're not backing away from it. And then, you know, the rebuttals that we saw with the year 4, we didn't really see that the punch is throwing as much. But then you came up with it in your rebuttal on this team, and so we said, you know what, this is absolutely an amazing round, and we think both teams tied.